I forget. This is the heart-shaped burlap wreath. And if this is your first time joining, normally what I do is I start, oh, where did I go? I start like this, sitting on at my desk in front of my laptop, and then I move my laptop over to my craft table so you can see all the action. And let me just shut my Facebook down though so I don't keep dinging here. And I'm going to mute everybody at the beginning of the call or the class. If you do have a question, you can unmute yourself. Lenora, I don't know what device that you're using. What are you using to watch the class? Are you using your laptop, your PC, your phone?
My laptop.
Okay, so if you take your mouse and you scroll to the bottom of the picture, you should see some controls come up.
Yep.
Start and stop video, mute. Do you see those?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to mute everybody. You can unmute yourself at any time if you have a question, but I mute everybody at the beginning of the call just to cut down on background noise. So if you do happen to type a question into me, I might not see it right away. So I just encourage you to just unmute yourself if you have a question and just say excuse me or whatever. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to mute everybody unless somebody has a question right now. Does
which
anybody
frame
have a question?
are you using? Does it matter which frame?
Well, I'm going to use the Dollar Tree frame, okay. But if I know that Hobby Lobby sells the heart frames as well, and that will work as well because it's got the three, I'm looking over it, it's got the three rungs. They're just a little bit closer together, but that will work as well. What do you have?
I actually have all three of them. I was
yeah. All three of what? You have the Dollar Tree, the Hobby Lobby, and what else?
And then one from Walmart.
From Walmart. Okay, so you can use either of them. I'm going to be using the Dollar Tree one. I actually ordered a couple online off eBay, and then I went to my Dollar Tree the next day, and they had them. So I grabbed a few. I've got a bunch now. So, but the Dollar Tree ones, they're the same size as the other ones. Just the bars, I think, are a little farther apart, but that doesn't really matter. I'm not familiar with the Walmart ones. I haven't seen those. But so I'm going to go ahead and just mute everybody so we can get started here. And hold on one second. I'm going to move my laptop over. Move it all. Okay. Close that. I'll move over. I will hobble over even though my ankle feels a little bit better now. It feels a lot better now that I have it wrapped up in that ace bandage. Those things are nice. Plug my other webcam in. Whoops. All right, there we go. So that's that. Let me just make sure that it's a pretty good view there. Hold on. That looks good. Let me just plug my battery in so we don't lose power, because that has happened before, and then the meeting shuts off and you guys are sitting there talking to yourselves while I try to get my laptop booted up again. That's not fun. So I'm going to sit today, which is probably good for my ankle, because this is a sitting wreath. This is probably going to be one of the easiest wreaths you've made. If you haven't done the pull-through method yet, you can do the pull-through method with burlap. You can do the pull-through method with mesh. Either the 6-inch mesh from Dollar Tree, you can do the pull-through with 10-inch mesh. I don't really think it would work with 21-inch mesh. It would just be too long for that. I don't know if you guys were in my class where I did the pull-through with the 4-inch ribbon on the candy cane form. That was also a pull-through. And really all it is if you're not familiar with it, is you're just going to take your burlap or ribbon, whatever you have, and you're just going to pull it. Now, normally, if you have a round wreath form, I don't think I have one handy here. It's got four rungs on it. So normally, if you're going to be doing the pull through on a round wreath form, you're going to be pulling it through the outer 2 bars and the inner 2 bars. Let me see if I have one. Even though you probably already know what I'm talking about, because you can do the pull through on a round wreath form too. Hold on one second. I'm running out of wreath forms. I need to get some more of these, even though I like the work wreath forms now. I've been kind of hooked on those lately. The work wreath forms are the ones that have the ties already on there. But this is a Dollar Tree form. So if you were going to be doing the pull through on one of these, you'd be pulling through these 2 bars and these 2 bars, okay? But since the Dollar Tree form only has 3, we're just going to be pulling through these 2. And I think the Walmart and the Hobby Lobby one only has 3 too. So, but it'll work just as good. So really all you're going to do to get started, it's very, very easy. This is probably going to be a pretty quick class. I might show you guys how to make a bow too, because I've been practicing making hand-tied bows. Even though I have my pro bow, it had really been bugging me for a long time that I was having a hard time making a hand-tied bow. So I did it quite a few times today. And the only thing that's difficult about making a hand-tied bow is there's a lot of pinching and holding while you're making your loops. And if you have problems with your hands, that could be a little troubling. But it is possible to do that if you go slow. Of course, the pro bow is awesome. I have a pro bow. I might even do a class on the pro bow, since I know a lot of you have it and you want to sort of get used to using it and see different methods and styles of bows that you can make. So we can definitely do a class with the pro bow. But basically all you're going to do to get started is take your burlap and just gather it together a little bit in the end here, because you want to secure it to your wreath form. So just take a little bunch of it like that, and let me see the best place really where we can do this. This is the top side of it. You can see how it's kind of raised a little bit. So that's the top side. So you're going to want to attach it underneath. So really just kind of you can go to the outside bar here and just take your zip tie. You need a zip tie. And just secure that end underneath. It doesn't really matter where. The bottom rung is probably better because we're going to be pulling through these 2 here. So just sort of get my hand around it here. You just want to secure it so when you start pulling it, it's not going to come out on you. And a lot of times I don't even do this. It's really not necessary, I guess, but let me just snip that off. It just kind of helps to hold it. Okay. So then you can just start pulling through. And it's really very simple. You're just going to take the 2 ends of your burlap and just start pulling them around this middle bar. Just like that. And as you're doing it, you're going to scrunch it. Make sure that you have an even amount on both sides, okay? And you just start scrunching it together. And how much you use is entirely up to you. How much you want to use per section is entirely up to you. There's only 1 bar that you're pulling through, so you want it to be full. So I would try to get it as tight as possible. You can see how I'm doing that. I'm just kind of pulling up with my fingers, so you can adjust it as you go along to make sure that your sides are even. And that's really it. And this is really nice with burlap because, as we all know, burlap can have a lot of fibers that come loose and get in your face, and you really don't want to breathe those in. And if you're not cutting your burlap, because you're not cutting this at all, you're going to cut down on those a lot. And this is just so pretty when it's done. Any of the pull-through methods, whether you're using burlap or whether you're using mesh, you can use ribbon. In fact, I was looking at some really pretty lace ribbon online today. And I was thinking about maybe doing one with lace, but lace is kind of expensive, as I'm finding out. So you can already see you have a nice little ruffle going there, but your goal is to get it tight because you don't want that bar to show. So you kind of want to get it in there as tight as you can. When you don't think you can fit any more, try to fit another Another ruffle. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can go ahead when you're done and go around and adjust all your ruffles. It might be a little more difficult if you're using the Hobby Lobby frame because the wires are closer together. It might be a little harder for you to get these to pull through, but the burlap is pretty thin, so I think you'll be okay. Just try to keep it flat underneath because you don't really want it to fold in on itself. I don't know who invented this method, but I really like it. When you're satisfied with how full it is, I have a little bit of a fold here. Let me undo that. It wants to fold in on itself sometimes. Somebody have a question?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Can you show us again how to get started?
Why did you just come in? Are you late?
No, but I just had to secure my ribbon and I'm not sure how to get it in the spaces.
Okay, so I mean, did you already attach it with the zip tie underneath or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I mean, we can just go to the next section. So are you a little bit confused by how I'm pulling it through the middle? Is that what you're confused about?
Yes.
Okay, so just make sure your burlap is flat underneath, okay?
Okay.
As flat as you can get it. I'm just going to go to the next section now here. Hold on a second here. Make sure I have enough of this pulled through before I go to the next one. So just take your two ends here, okay? And you're going to bring your two ends up around that middle bar. Do you see the middle bar there? Okay.
Yes.
You're just going to bring your two ends up and around the middle bar so they meet together. So the two ends are meeting together like that.
Okay.
You want to make sure that they're even. And once you have them pulled through, you're just going to start scrunching it. You go from this angle here. Once you pull it through and you make sure that they're even, you have the same amount on both sides of the bar, okay? You're just going to start scrunching it over so you can fit more in there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And just keep scrunching it. So you can pretty much do this one hand. Once you have it pulled through like that around that bar, you can hold the one end with one hand and do the pulling through with the other hand. And then just keep scrunching. Whoops, and then let your burlap roll off the floor because that's okay. Just keep pulling it over like that, pulling it through and scrunching it over until you get it nice and tight. Then you're going to have really pretty ruffles if it's nice and tight. And that's what you want. You have that, or do you need me to start again? We're going to go to the next section in a minute here, so we're going to be doing this a few more times.
So, no, I'm still not there. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
What don't you get about it? What's?
I mean, do we keep going in the, not the out section, but the in section?
That's all you're going to be using because there's nothing to pull around the outside. You only have one bar in the middle that you can pull around, and these two bars on the outside are what's going to hold your burlap in there. That's why you need to go in the middle, because if you tried to go on the outside, that outer piece of burlap would just fall, and it would look weird. So whenever you're doing the pull-through method, I'm sorry?
I need to have it like on the third ring. Is that right?
What form are you using? Are you using a
The
dollar?
one just like yours.
Okay. you're going to be going this middle bar here, through the middle bar.
Okay.
Because if
Okay.
you try to do the outside or the inside, like I said, you need to be in the middle. So
Okay.
2 bars here will hold your burlap inside your wreath. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
most definitely.
Okay, good. You'll get the hang of it. I'm not even, who am I talking to? I'm not sure who that is. Who was that?
It's Joyce.
Joyce. Okay. You'll get it, Joyce. Just take your time. Make sure you're pulling up around that middle bar and that your burlap, you have the same amount of burlap on either side.
Okay.
It helps if it's flat underneath. Just keep scrunching it together until it's nice and tight.
Well, mine is not covering up the outer edge.
It's not. What do you mean? It should.
Well, I started mine on the inside edge, and I guess I need to start it on the in the middle edge.
Yeah,
right?
you need to take that out. That's why you started on the wrong one, honey.
Okay, so I'm going to
Just go back and take that out and start over and just go through the middle one. That you just made a little bit of a mistake when you started. That's all. If you have it in the middle, it'll cover up both the inside and the outside bar. You won't be able to see that.
Okay. Okay, let me start over.
That's okay. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
Christina,
Yes, ma'am.
can you show me what yours looks like on the back when you cross over a bar from one section to the next?
See how that middle bar is gone? It's covered.
But you have a little bit of extra burlap there.
What do you mean?
When you cross over a bar, how do you keep it from having a little poof of extra burlap?
Well, you're going to have a little bit of a poof. I mean, because you're pulling it up tight, as tight as you can. And then when you go back,
Okay,
you can kind of tuck it in. If you've got too much poofing out in the back, the goal here is to get it as tight as you can. When you're pulling it up through the middle bar and you're squishing it over, get it as tight as you can. That way it won't pop out. Sometimes that'll happen. Like I think I might even have to add a little bit more to this first section when I come around, which you can definitely do. But you want to get it as tight. Oh, that's the first section. I'm not done with this one. You need to get it in as tight as you can. And then when you go back when you're done, you can go to the back and kind of push any through. Yours not flat like that. Is that why? If it's tight.
Yes, that's what I was talking about right there where you're at. That's kind of what mine looks like when I cross over a bar.
Yeah, you know what? You're always going to have a little bit of an extra poof there when you cross a bar because you just have that bar there that wants to push it out. But when you go back, you can just kind of flatten it with your hand. You know, nobody's really going to see the back. You just want to make sure that it's going to stay in there, and that's why you do it as tight as possible. And you squish them together nice and tight.
Oh, I'm getting it tight. I bent my wire.
Oh, you did?
Just a little, yes.
That'll be okay. It's going to be covered. So let me see if I have enough in this one here, if I want to add a little bit more. See, I have a lot more room here. I'm just going to keep going until it's nice and tight. When you think you can't get any more in, if it's really in there squished and good, then you know you can move on to the next section. But it's going to serve two purposes. It's going to keep your burlap in there, and it's also going to, you know, make a nice fluffy full wreath, and that's what you want. And you can go around after and you can, you know, fix your ruffles and adjust them and, you know, whatever. People really fussy about how their ruffles look, but it's supposed to look a little bit rustic. You know, it's not supposed to be perfect. How burlap is. That's why when you're done with your burlap wreath, it's not like a regular mesh wreath You know, you see a lot of people that want to add, you know, tons of ribbon and embellishments. Burlap doesn't really need that, in my opinion. Maybe a bow, maybe a cute little sign in the middle. In fact, I was trying to find a little heart sign that I bought last year. I was going to maybe hang it in the middle, but I can't find that darn thing. I don't know where it went, so I think I'm just going to put a little bow on this. So that's pretty tight there. I'm satisfied with how tight that is in that section, so I'm going to move on to the next one.
And I think I'm happy that I have 4 packages of this ruffled ribbon because it's thinner than the burlap.
What are you using? You're using the spiral pad?
Yeah, I am.
It is thinner. I have some of that too, actually. And this is the spiral ribbon. That's what Pam is talking about. If you haven't seen this,
It's so pretty.
Yeah, Michael's had a lot of it on clearance.
I wish I had bought more because it's really pretty.
When you pull this through, it is just gorgeous. If you want to Google spiral ribbon wreath, it makes a gorgeous wreath. And I think really all you can use this for is the pull through. I don't really see any other way you can incorporate that into a wreath unless you make a bow with it. But it makes it gorgeous. I actually got some plaid too. I got some plaid, and I got some of that. So
I'm actually kind of hoping that they have some of it for the Easter holidays.
Oh, really? They had Easter colors too?
I don't know. I have to look. I don't know. But
My
wouldn't that
daughter
be pretty
gave me
too?
a Michael's gift card. I have to check them out. Michael's and Joanne's. So
I was at Michael's. This is Rose. I was at Michael's today and bought all of that ribbon that Pam was talking about.
the spiral ribbon.
Yeah, like 20 rolls at 80% off. I got them for $3.99
Wow.
a piece.
How
And
much?
there's $3.99 a piece.
Wow.
And there was very little Valentine's out yet. No St. Patrick's Day and no Easter yet at the Michael's here in Pittsburgh in South Hills Village area.
Well,
I haven't been to Hobby Lobby yet to see what they have.
We were at Packatans on up by my sister's in Hermitage on New Year's Day, and they had a fair amount of Valentine's stuff out and a little teeny bit of St. Patrick's Day, but my Dollar Trees are just horrid.
Oh, so mine. They're horrible around here. For some of them are. I mean, I did get a lot of Easter stuff, but they're horrible for frames.
Well, my one here in Bell Vernon, she had almost nothing yesterday. I got some roses. That's about all I got. And up by Century 3, I got a little bit of ribbon and some Easter egg picks.
Hey, don't you be going to my Century 3 Dollar Tree there, Pamela.
Oh, I have to hit up White Oak, Greensburg, and the one in Olympia Shopping Center and see what they've got. But
you go, girl.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
I wish I had a pack of tins here.
They keep promising us a Hobby Lobby in West Mifflin, but I don't know when it's coming.
You don't have a Hobby Lobby there?
Well, where I live and probably where Rose is, there's one in Uniontown, which is about 20 miles south of me. Then there's one in Washington, PA, which is about 20 miles west of me. And if they get this other one down between Rose and I, it'll be 20 miles to the south or to the north of me. So I'll be sitting right in the middle of 3 of them.
I'm the same way, Pam. I'm sitting there in the middle of them, but the one at Century 3 is going to be 15 minutes from me.
Oh, that one I could hit on my way home from work.
No. I'm locking the doors when you get there.
Nice. Okay. I've come to the end of my first roll here. Now, I'm not going to zip tie this. Like I said, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm not going to zip tie this because I'm in the middle of a section and I'm going to add a bunch more. So I'm not going to be too concerned about it coming out because I'm going to squish it right in there. So that is really the purpose of zip tying it, just because you don't want it to come out. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So here we go. We're going to start the next row. I'm just going to squish that in as tight as I can and just start with the next one. You don't really have to worry about, you might get a little bit of fraying on that end, that cut end there, even though I think it is sewn. The ends are sewn, but you just kind of tuck that in, or if you want to cut off those little pieces of, yeah. It's not going to, you're not going to mess with it once it's in there. So that's really, with anything, with mesh, with burlap, the more you mess with it, the more, fraying or flyaways you're going to have. So. You can kind of see by my table I have, you get some fibers here. And my big lots had a bunch of Easter stuff out. I was there today, and then I posted the picture a few days ago. They had some St. Patrick's Day, and I got that cute little leprechaun, which he really isn't little. Come to find out, he's pretty big. It's going to be a big wreath. That's going to be a big St. Patty's Day wreath. But they didn't have any ribbon. I was looking for ribbon today. They didn't have any Easter ribbon. No, their Valentine's section was very, very small. I wasn't impressed with that at all. How is your spiral ribbon looking so far, Pam, on this? It must be pretty.
Let me see if I can show you. Can you, oops. Can you see it?
Let me go to your image here. Hold on, I have to page forward. Where did you go? Hold on. Oh, how pretty. I love that spiral ribbon.
Apparently Rose bought it all.
I was hoping I could find it in different colors, but I haven't really seen it in any other colors but the Christmas colors. If you want to stop every once in a while and kind of look at it. But I'm pretty satisfied with how full that is so far. Let me see if I can get one more piece through here, and then I'm going to go to the next section. Yeah, I can't believe I fell yesterday. And, we had a really, really cold day here, a really cold few days, actually, here in upstate New York. And I was actually walking out yesterday to try to find a replacement blade for my fabric circle cutter, which I'm so mad that it broke already. Maybe I was pressing a little bit too hard because I was trying to get through both those layers of the felt. But anyway, still, it shouldn't have broken so fast. So anyway, I was headed out to try to find a replacement blade, and I literally had just put my foot out the door. I didn't even make it 2 steps, and I just went down. And my knee kind of bent, and my foot twisted, and it hurt. It hurt a lot. So you got to be careful. You really got to be careful in this weather. So needless to say, my daughters went out for me, and they managed to find a replacement blade at Hobby Lobby. So I think what I'm going to do is I really need to finish cutting my felt because I want to do that class tomorrow. I think what I'm going to do is just finish cutting my felt and then bring the whole thing back with the old blade to Hobby Lobby and just have them give me a whole new cutter, because that's not right. It shouldn't have broken so fast. And then I'll have that new blade that I bought, and then I'll have the old one, well, the new one that, that they're going to give me, I hope. It really does work awesome, though. So I don't want you to think, oh, God, I'm going to go buy it and the blade's going to break, and, it's a cheap, it's Fiskars. It's a good brand. It's just, I don't know what happened. Maybe I was pushing too hard. It's the first thing my son said. Mom, were you pushing too hard? Like, I don't think so. But it really does make perfect little circles, though. Look how cute these are. It makes perfect little circles. Perfect little felt circles. And that's a gorgeous wreath. That felt wreath is going to be gorgeous. You're not going to put too much in this bottom section here. I don't know if you missed that because it was pretty fast. This bottom section of the heart was kind of small, so I didn't really need to fit too much in there. So really, it's just like one hand you hold it and squish, the other hand you pull through with. Take your time. If you're finding that it seems cumbersome to you, just take your time. It's not a race. You don't have to finish it in class. The pull-through method, can be a little bit, weird sometimes if you're not used to it. How's it going, Joyce? Did you get it? Joyce is working. She's concentrating. I hope I have enough here. Look at that. I'm almost to the end of my roll here. I thought 2 was going to be enough. I sure hope it's going to be enough. Maybe I'll stop now and go to this next section here. There's no way I would have been able to fit 3 rolls in here. But I don't know. I'm at the very end here, and I feel like I need more. I may go out and get another roll, because I still have some room here. Look at that. God darn it. I still have some room here. So I apologize. You might want to go out and get yourself another roll of burlap, because 2 looks like it isn't going to be enough, because now it's a little bit loose on the end here. Well, that stinks. There's no way you'd fit 3 full rolls, though. Maybe 2.5. I'm really upset by that. Now it's not going to be full enough on the bottom. Looks like I'll have to go buy another roll. Because it's funny, because on the regular wreath forms, the round wreath forms, it takes 2 rolls. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's because the spaces on this Dollar Tree form are just so far apart. You have to squish more in there. I'm going to try something here. I want to try to even this out a little bit. I'm going to take some out of this one neighboring. I'm cutting my zip tie here that I zip tied it with. I'm just going to steal some from this neighboring section here so it doesn't look so loose on the bottom. I'm going to cheat a little bit. because I want to finish this tonight. What's that saying? I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul. I'm going to steal some from one of the other sections here, just so I can try to even it out. I'm not even quite sure what that means, rob Peter to pay Paul. Where'd that come from anyway? I know I've heard that saying before. We're just going to kind of try to even it out a little bit. So maybe I won't even need to go get another roll. Maybe I can just kind of like steal some from a neighboring section here. Because I did make some of these other sections really super tight. So I'm just going to move some over. I think these rolls, where did I get these rolls? I think I got these from Hobby Lobby when they were 40% off or 50% off. I don't remember. I think this one's got a lot. I'm going to steal some from this one here and pull it over. I really squished that one kind of tight. You don't want to lose your heart shape, though. That's the thing. Oh, there it is. There's my heart. I hit it out the wrong way. I'm like, wait a second. That doesn't look like a heart. Where did it go? I had it upside down. So we can fix this. I just sort of like stole a little bit from a neighboring section and pulled it over. This one's a little bit too tight over here. Let me pull some of this over. Maybe we won't need another roll. There. Let me take a look at that. I got to stand it up so I can see. In fact, I think I just need to stand up for a second so I can.
Christina,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Joyce again. I don't know what the problem is. I still haven't got it. Do you think you could help me tomorrow? If
Sure, honey, of course.
you just tell me.
We'll get online. You can show me what you're doing. We'll do a one-on-one. You can show me what you're doing.
I mean, every time I try to do it, it comes undone.
Yeah,
So
you're probably just not pulling it through tight enough. We can definitely get on tomorrow, just you and me, and you can show me. Do you want to do that?
Yes, please.
No problem.
I just can't figure out why I can't figure out how to do it.
We'll get it. I'll help you. No worries.
I would appreciate it.
No problem.
But you're not twisting it or anything, are you, when you
Nope.
put it?
Nope.
No. Okay.
So I pretty much have it evened out here. I may still go back and buy another roll. I don't know, and I apologize. I was quite certain that it would only take 2 rolls because I know that with the round frame, I've done the pull through on those with the burlap, and it's only taken 2 rolls. So I know Hobby Lobby has quite a bit of the red burlap. So if you have a Hobby Lobby near you or Walmart, I've never seen the red at the Walmart though. I want my sections to be a little bit tighter. I don't really want to keep borrowing from other sections here. It's important, and the reason why you want them tight is because you don't want that middle bar to show there. When it's nice and tight, you don't see that middle bar. This section's pretty tight over here. I'll try to move some of that over. We'll get it, Joyce, don't worry. How's everybody else doing, okay?
I am.
Tammy, I had no doubt you would be.
#1 selling hand cream, guaranteed relief of dry, cracked hand. Thanks, Okish. Here and see it. Your friends.
Just trying to make sure that my pieces of burlap are even on both sides, because you don't want one side longer than the other one, because then it'll look funny. There. I think that looks pretty good. Again, if you feel like you want to go get another roll, I may not. I pretty much was able to sort of move some stuff around a little bit to fill in that gap I had. It's pretty tight up here still, but I'm pretty happy with the way it came out, actually. I just want to make sure my pieces are even over here. Sometimes they have a tendency to fold in on themselves, and so you want to sort of fix that. You don't want them to be folded, you want them to be, if that makes any sense. And this section seems pretty loose to me still. I need to get some more over there. I'm going to keep stealing a little bit. That section's pretty tight. There.
You don't want to go back outside, do you, Riley? I just can't get this. She's gonna help me tomorrow. I just can't figure out. Good. I said she's gonna help me tomorrow. I just can't figure out how to make it straight.
You're right. All right, I see a bar there. I need to get that covered. Hold on one second. Where's the top of my heart? There it is. Okay. So just kind of go around when you're done. Fluff it a little bit. Make sure that your burlap is even on both sides, that you don't have too much pulled through on one side and not on the other. Again, I may go back and get another roll and add it because I think I want mine to be a little bit tighter together. Hold on, this piece came out. Because it'll just hold your burlap in there a little bit better if it's tighter. So that's what you want. But for now, I'm going to have to leave it like it is and just try to fluff it as good as I can until I can go get another roll. You don't have to get another roll if you're happy with the way it looks. Or if you have another roll, then you can add. I just don't think it would take 3 full rolls. I think that would be too much. But there's that. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
Kristen,
Yes, ma'am.
your wreath is beautiful, but my question was, how many feet are your rolls of burlap?
I have to go look, but I'm pretty sure they're 15 feet. Let me go look at the package. I'm pretty sure that's how the Hobby Lobby ones come, are 15 feet rolls, 15-foot rolls. Let's see. Yep. Hobby Lobby is 5.5 inches by 15. So
Okay.
I'm not quite sure if Joann's or if Walmart is different. That's the top right there.
Walmart says the same. That's what I'm using.
Yeah.
And I put mine extremely tight, and I still have some left over, and I'm right near the end. So I was wondering how you're running out. I've got so much
Yeah, I
left
don't
over.
know. Can I see yours? Can you show me?
Hold on a second. See what I can do. What do I have to do to it?
Can you
to make
move it
sure
over to the middle a little bit so I can see it? It's off to the side. I really can't see it. There we go.
you can see
That
it
looks
now?
great.
I've got this little bit right here that I can probably pull through 2 or 3 more times.
Uh-huh. But you have some left over?
I've got this much left over.
I don't know. That's puzzling to me. I don't know what happened with that. But I managed to
I
kind of...
ran out on mine too.
Oh, did ya?
Yep. Right at the bottom, so I gotta use a part of another roll.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't think it's going to take 3 full rolls. I think maybe 2.5. But for now, I sort of have it so it's pretty much covered. You probably can't see from where you are, but I know that there's a couple of sections here that I might want to have a little bit tighter. But, you know, I think it came out pretty good for me, you know, moving stuff around as best as I could. What do you think? Look how pretty. I love burlap. Now, again, like I said before, burlap is so naturally pretty. You don't really want to cover it up too much. I've seen some people put, why knock some stuff over here? Hold on a second here. I have my stack of Sam's Club ribbon and I knocked the whole thing over. I think it's time to clean my craft room here. Hold on a second. I'm sort of in the middle of putting Christmas away. Stay. So I've seen some people that, I mean, even have taken like some silk flowers and maybe put it on one side. One thing that you want to be cognizant of is if you're adding anything to a wreath like this, typically with like a grapevine or not necessarily mesh, because mesh you have a tendency, or you normally add ribbon all over. But if you have a grapevine wreath with florals on it, or a wreath like this that you want to maybe add some florals or a ribbon, always put that on the left side. And the reason for that is because, what would be your left? I'm trying to think, I'm looking at my laptop here. Because if you put it, this would be the left over here. If you put things on the left side, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but when your brain is looking at something, it reads from left to right. So it's just like a natural progression when you're looking at a wreath to have like any florals or a ribbon to be on the left side, because your brain will read from left to right. I mean, I know I read that somewhere, and it does kind of make sense. Because a lot of times I've seen people post wreaths and they say, this just doesn't look right to me. It's because they have everything on the right side and the brain just doesn't like that. I know it sounds crazy, but there was a bow that I made earlier today. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to use it. This is just some Dollar Tree ribbon that I picked up. And this is my hand-tied bow. I did this all by hand. And I was pretty proud of myself because I usually have a hard time hand-tying bows. But And I just kind of tied it together with a pipe cleaner because I had a gold one. But does anybody want me to show you how I did that? I mean, I'm not even quite sure if I'm going to use it. I kind of have to see how it
I'd
looks.
love to see a hand-tied bow.
Absolutely.
It took me a little while, but I did it. I think I will use that. So I'm actually going to tie it to the left. Now, if you have a little sign, I'll do it again, Pam. I have another roll of this. If you have maybe a little sign you want to put in the middle, or if you do add a bow, I would add it on the left side, because it's just, that's how your brain is going to see it. So I'm going to just add this in real quick, and then I'm going to show you how I did this. And you just have to be patient because there's a lot of pinching and twisting, but if you go slow, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm just going to tie this in. So you really don't need a lot with a burlap wreath. Like I said, you don't want to cover it too much. But this is just some Dollar Tree ribbon that I picked up. I kind of made my tails a little bit uneven. I'm going to have to adjust those. I'm not even quite sure if I like that. It looks like it's a little bit crooked. There's the top. Okay, now I see what I'm doing. So I'm not quite even sure if I even want to add a bow, if I'm going to add it to the side or if I'm going to add it to the middle. Or I might not even use the tails. It might just look good without tails. Just like a little simple ribbon on the side like that. What do you think? I'm not even sure if I want the tails on there.
I think it looks pretty.
Yeah. I'm going to play with it a little bit. A lot of times I play with my wreaths after I'm done with class because it's kind of hard for me. I'm like looking at it on my laptop. A lot of times when I get it on the wall. But that's kind of pretty. There's just a simple little bow. If you have a little sign, you can put a little sign in the middle. I don't think I like the tails. I like it like that instead. So I just tuck those under.
So
Now,
do you
yes, ma'am. Did somebody have a question?
Yeah, Lenore. Do you zip tie the end piece when you're all done?
I didn't. I just squished it in there.
Okay.
If it's squished in nice and tight, like I said, I even took out the other zip tie. You don't really, I think a lot of times I do it when I'm beginning just to kind of hold it. But usually when I come around again, it's in there so tight that you really don't need to zip tie the other end because it's already in there so tight. And it kind of, that's really what it does is the burlap holds itself in place because you have it squished in there so tightly. So I think that's going to be my bow. I'm just going to add like a little bow with no tails. I may change my mind when I get off class and add flowers or something. I don't know. But let me show you how I did that. Again, if you have trouble with your hands, this might not be something that you want to do because there is a lot of pinching and twisting. But basically, let me get this camera up a little bit so you can see. Move this out of the way. What you want to do, I actually cut this piece off because I hate that little fold. Little fold in the ribbon there. You're going to want to start with your tail. So if you want to have a tail, if you don't want to have a tail, it's entirely up to you. Just decide how long you want your tail to be, and then you're just going to pinch. Okay? I'm just going to take it right off the spool so I could work with it. Okay? So that's going to be your tail. Then you start making your loops. All right? You're pinching your tail there. So say you want your loops to be maybe a couple inches. Okay? And you're just going to pinch again in the middle. Okay, now this is where you're going to have to twist because if you were to go like that, you want this, the printed side to be up. So you're going to twist underneath. All right. And then you're going to make, you can see that. I'm trying to stay on camera here. Then you make your second loop. Try to get it about the same size as the first one. If you have like your measuring mat, if you want to lay it down to make sure it's exactly right, but I'm just sort of eyeballing it. And then you're going to pinch again in the middle. That's the hardest part, is keeping the pinches together. And you twist again underneath, so you're going to twist again. Make another loop. You can use the whole roll of ribbon for that, for this. You can kind of put it next to your other one to make sure it's about the same size. Pinch again. Twist underneath. Make your next loop. There's a lot of pinching and twisting, and a lot of times that could be frustrating for people. I'd still rather use my Pro Bow. I want to have a class on the Pro Bow. But twist again. Make your next loop. That's all you really have to do. And again, that's the most difficult part, is holding everything together while you make your loops. There was another method that I did in another class where you could just take your ribbon and make circles out of it. You make little circles. And you just staple your circles together, and then you staple all of your circles together to make the bow, if that makes sense. You're making little circles with your ribbon and stapling them, and you have a bunch of circles of ribbon, and then you staple all the ribbon circles together in the middle. I've done that too. But there's a lot of pinching and twisting going on here, so, and a lot of people get frustrated by that. If you go slow, you can do it. Make one more loop here. Excuse me, I hope you guys can all see this. I'm sort of focusing on what I'm doing here. All right, so, and you need to grab either a piece of floral wire or a zip tie, not a zip tie, I'm sorry, a pipe cleaner. Just kind of tie it all together. Give it some twists. Did I get blurry here? Hold on a second. Sometimes I get blurry. And that's it. This is where you need to sort of adjust everything. You can make your dovetails on the end. Sometimes I even, when I make a hand-tied bow, I get my fluff box out from my Pro Bow, and you can even make your own fluff box. And all that fluff box is something that you sit your bow on to hold it while you pull your your ribbon curls out, or your pieces, and you fluff them. So it's possible to do a hand-tied bow. I never used to be able to do one. You just kind of have to be patient with it. But I'm going to put a survey in the class, I think, to see who wants to do a pro bow class, because I do have a pro bow. I don't know how many of you have a pro bow. Just dovetail your ends here. Whoop, I did that wrong. How many of you have done that before? To make sure you're cutting the right way here, like that. There's your dovetail. If you even have a piece of wood, you can stick a nail on it, and that just holds your bow in place. You wrap your pipe cleaner around it so you can go ahead. Sometimes I've even seen people just put this on their wreath after they make it, and then they fluff it. I think Jackie from Jackie's Wreaths and Things, she uses her pro bow to make the bow, and then she puts the bow right on her wreath to fluff it because it holds it. I'm kind of doing this a little bit fast, but my tail is a little bit shorter on that side. If that makes sense to you, it's just a bunch of ribbon and a bunch of loops and twists. And it's not perfect because I kind of did it in a hurry. But that's how you make a hand-tied bow. There's actually a lot of videos on YouTube as well that show you how to do that. You know who makes really gorgeous bows? That side's too long. You know who makes really gorgeous bows? If you've seen Dorothy Barksdale from Dottie Dot's Bubbly Creations, I love the name of her business. She just makes gorgeous hand-tied bows. I've seen her videos. You can Google her as well, or look on YouTube for her as well for hand-tied bows. And they make it look so easy. And it really is kind of easy, but it's just a lot of, like I said, a lot of pinching and twisting, and a lot of people just aren't comfortable with that motion. So that's that. Not as pretty as my first one because I wasn't being, I did that like earlier today when I was by myself and I was trying to get it done. But I think this is this for now. I think that's how I'm going to keep it for now. I may add another row of burlap, another roll. I may take this off and put a sign on. I'm not sure yet. But there we go. What do you guys think? Is this the top? Yes, that's the top. That's my heart. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Did I lose you all? Hey, Pam. I guess if nobody has any questions, we're going to wrap it up.
I think it looks pretty.
You like it? How do you like the bow? Does the bow look
I like
okay?
the bow. I think it looks cute.
Should I take my tails back out? I didn't really like my tails. I don't know why. It just didn't hang right to me,
I
in
like
my
it like it
opinion.
is.
So I tucked them in. I tucked my tails in.
I like it like it is.
Thank you. All right, you
No,
guys.
I think it's pretty.
If nobody has any more questions, I think we're going to call it a night. Joyce, I'll help you tomorrow. We can jump on a Zoom meeting, and we can help you figure out what issue that you're having. Just message me, and we'll set up a time, and we'll get that taken care of. All right? Everybody have a great night.
You too. See you
All right,
later.
guys. All right,
Thanks,
guys. Good night.
Christina.
Night.
Good night, Christina.
Thank you.